Alright, so I've decided that I'm gonna make a video. Oh, anyway, before we start, I am in Huaqing Jiawan, the coolest apartment complex in all of China because it is right over the bars and clubs. If all the foreigners want, all the foreigners want to live there, or Laowai, they want to live there. And actually, the bars and clubs share the same address, like not same address, but it has Huaqing Jiawan in it. But anyway, this video is not about Huaqing Jiawan. This video is about why I came here and how I came here. And I did make a video like this a few years ago when I was 18, but I can't exactly remember what I said in it because I'm too embarrassed to watch that video. I'm too embarrassed to watch that video. So anyway, we're gonna start from the beginning. But anyway, so I come from a small town in New York, very small town, and everyone looks like me. It's like white, middle class, you name it, everyone looks like me. And I left my public school when I was in 8th grade, midway through 8th grade, and then I went to a private school called Storm King. And this is when my life turned. I wouldn't say upside down, but it turned for the better. Because at that school, it is an international school. And at that time, half the student population was of Chinese and Koreans. And of the international population, about 90% of the international students were from China. And when I came to this school, I was like, whoa, there are people who don't look like me here. But I was not afraid, I decided to branch out a little bit. And this is when I met my first Chinese friend named Jack Zhao. And it's the one he was the one who opened up the gates. So after opening up the gates, I'm still not used to people kind of walking by. Okay, but anyway, after the gates were open, we discussed a lot. I didn't learn a lot about China, but this is when it started to get going. Then sophomore year came, and this is when it really started. No, not sophomore year, I'm sorry. Freshman year. This is when freshman year started, and this is when everything started to change. I met another really close friend named Owen, another friend from China, and he's from southern China. And he was the one that I have to say influenced me the most about coming to China. And really, Owen, if you're watching this, 谢谢. You really changed my life, and there's a big possibility I never would have came here. So in sophomore year is when I started studying Chinese. And Owen was making jokes about me saying, oh, you should stop studying Chinese before you kill yourself. And, I was, at that time I wasn't too happy, but I didn't realize that he was joking because at that time I don't think my sense of humor was so good, and it still sucks. I don't know. Maybe I should become crap, this water bottle. Alright, yeah, alright. This is much better holding it like this, I think. Okay. Crap, where were we? Okay, so anyway, yeah, about the Chinese and stuff. But then when I first started, I actually, what the reason was? The reason why I started is because I wanted to understand what the Chinese kids were saying. But, after that, I was just maybe getting my 2-3 credits of language and then just go to college in America. But that is not what happened. I started to gain an interest in China, and I started to really gain an interest. And, then the next year, junior year, was my second year of learning Chinese. And this is when I decided that I kind of wanted to consider going to China for studying, for college. But when I brought it up to my parents, they suggested that it would be a good idea to study in an American school, and I understand why. But I just felt that wasn't exactly for me. I really felt that China was the place to go. Beijing was the right place to go. So I talked to my friend, Owen, and he actually encouraged me. He encouraged me to go to China. He encouraged me to do whatever. And that was the year when I started to get a little bit involved in Chinese social media. At that time, Renren Wang, or something like that, was very popular. It's kind of like a knockoff of Facebook. It's essentially Facebook, but now it's turned into the MySpace and nobody even uses it anymore. But yeah, I opened up that and started talking to a lot of Chinese, and they thought it was pretty cool, and they all supported me about coming to China to study. And eventually I bugged the hell out of my parents. I would tell them every day, I want to go to school in China. I want to go to school in China. I want to go to school in China. And they kept saying that no, it wasn't, they didn't think it was the best idea. Until I finally got to them to the point where they said, okay, you know what, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to China for about a month over the summer. And if you really like this place, if you like it, you can come here for study. So I settled on that. I thought, yeah, you know, why not? Let's do it. So when I came here, I actually had some of the greatest time. I actually have to say that was probably the best vacation I ever had. I was meeting up with my Chinese friends in Beijing and everything. We were having a great time. I went go-karting at this one place with a friend, and it was just the greatest trip of my life. And I wish I could relive that, which was in about like 2011. Yeah, 2011. It should be. I'll check the dates because I'm not good with numbers or dates. Unless somehow they're important. Okay, whatever. I don't know where the hell I'm going with that, but after that, I told my parents that yes, I wanted to come to China to study. So when I came here to study, actually, you know what, my graduation speech in China, you know, when I was a senior in high school, I made sure that half of it was in Mandarin, but I asked my friends my Chinese friends, I'm like, did you understand it? And they're like, well, we understood about 60% of it, but hey, at least 60% is better than 59% at least. But then, you know, it was off to China to study, and that's essentially how I got here. But now this when it takes a second chapter. So I was studying at BLCU for a year and a half. I actually did a semester at another school, but I went back to BLCU, and it just fitted me more. And this is when I decided that I needed to go to a school here because I can't study Mandarin. I couldn't study Mandarin in China forever. It was time for me to officially start school because I was attending Chinese classes. I wasn't technically a student. I was just attending Chinese classes. And now this is when Beijing Film Academy comes up into my life. My roommate at the time was telling me, oh my god, I met this really cool black girl. She's like so chill, and she's like from Africa. And yeah, he kept going on and on about it. And I'm like, you know what? If you like her, I gotta meet her. So we met up with her. She came to our apartment, and I remember this. And I talked to her, and I asked, where is she going? And at that time, I assumed like all foreigners like go to Tsinghua or Beida or BLCU. And she says, I go to Beijing Film Academy. And I asked, Beijing Film Academy? And she said, yeah. And I said, Beijing has a film academy? And she's like, yeah. My arm's getting tired. Hold on. And she said, yeah. And I did a little bit of film in high school, but I wouldn't even call it credible. Yeah, don't even call it credible. I did a short film. You know what? I'm gonna put a link to my very first short film down in the description box, or you know what? I'll put a whatever it's called. You're gonna laugh. You're gonna laugh. But anyway, getting back onto the subject. So I asked, can you take me there? Can you take me there? I want to see what this place is like. And she said, of course. And she took me to the place, and after I went, I kind of knew that this was the place I wanted to go. I wanted to do film. This was for me. Film. Oh, gosh. I'm still not used to people walking by when I make these kind of vlogs, but yes, that's essentially how I got up to Beijing Film Academy, and that is essentially where I am today. I am at Beijing Film Academy. I'm pursuing directing, and well, that's my major. Going to be my major because at the end of 2 years you have to, select. And I also am pursuing acting at the same time. I find them both fun, and I will post videos, films that I've directed, coming up soon. I'm gonna hopefully film my next one next month. I actually did film one. I'll put the link in the description. It's actually on Chinese YouTube. I haven't posted on YouTube yet. I'm still considering whether or not to do it, but there's the link. Go check it out. And I think that is essentially everything, other than when I took Chinese class, my teacher was American, which actually a lot of the Chinese students were impressed about. Well, yes, that's about it. That's about it. So, I guess I will see you next time. And check out my Instagram or whatever if you want. I try to post stuff on there daily, I guess. You know what? This goodbye is dragging on too long. See you next time. Hey guys, what's up? I just wanted to make a video about BLCU and talking about my experience here.